Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me a small space here this afternoon, just to tell you something about Turing's association with the LMS. Can everyone hear? Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. Okay, I think the first thing to say is that Turing was never a member of the LMS, even though he elected to deliver his seminal paper in 1936 to the society. And there was some debate about whether the paper was original or not. I'm going to try and share my screen. I know that you've got the Council Minute Book on display, showing the meeting where they discussed Turing's paper, but I was just going to try and show it on the screen as well. Okay, is that visible?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Okay, so in the middle of the page there, you can see it says the secretaries reported that some of the results of a paper, and the paper's number was 123, by Turing had been published just as Turing's paper was approaching completion. That Turing's methods were believed to be different from those of the paper published, and that the referee's report on Turing's paper was expected to come in during the vacation. The secretaries were authorized to accept the paper if the referee's report were favorable. So there was obviously some concern that the conclusions had already been published. But infuriatingly, they don't say who had already published. And I don't know whether anyone in the meeting this afternoon does know that.
Yes.
Turing himself references in his paper Alonzo Church, who he studied with at Princeton, and says that Church's effective calculability was equivalent to his own, i.e. Turing's, computability, but very differently defined. So it may be that it was Alonzo Church's work that was being referenced, but also in the very same year, 1936, Emil Post developed a mathematical model of computation, which was essentially equivalent to the Turing machine, but he didn't publish that until 1946. Excuse me. So I'm just going to stop sharing for the moment. So just to recap the timeline for Turing's 1936 paper, he submitted the paper on the 28th of May, 1936. The council minute that I showed you, where the paper was discussed, was later on in the autumn of 1936. It was finally accepted, and again, I'll try and share the screen here. Oh, no, sorry, wrong one. There we go, that's the right one. So again, in the point number 2, the secretary is reporting that the following papers have been accepted by them during the long vacation. And there we have Turing's paper 123. And so it was accepted on the 15th of October, 1936, and he actually delivered it on the 12th of November, 1936. Even though he wasn't a member of the LMS, he did continue to give papers. In fact, in 1938, because some discrepancies had been found in the 1936 paper, he published a correction which actually provided a definition of the Turing machine. And later on, after the war, in February 1947, he gave another paper in person on the automatic computing engine. And at that time, it's reported that there were 101 members present at that meeting. So I think this is an indication of how much his visibility had increased by that time. And I can't see the Hardy room at the moment, but I very much doubt there are 101 people in the room at the moment listening to me. So I think that really concludes what we know of Turing's association with the London Mathematical Society. There was an idea that we should call it his legacy. I don't know that he was sufficiently involved with the society to say that. All that we can do is point out when his papers were discussed, when they were published, and as I said, in 1947, how many people turned up to listen to him. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. I think